Ever wondered how moonshine, the legendary homemade spirit, gets crafted? Moonshine, a staple in the annals of American folklore, has a rich history as a homemade liquor, especially revered in rural parts of the United States. This potent spirit, often cloaked in tales of rebellion and resourcefulness, has a cultural importance that goes beyond mere libation. Its manufacture, a closely guarded secret, has intrigued many over the years. But what exactly goes into making moonshine? Stay tuned as we delve into the intriguing process of making moonshine. The journey of moonshine begins with the right ingredients. Our first ingredient is corn, the backbone of moonshine. This grain gives moonshine its distinctive, full-bodied flavor. Next, we add sugar, the sweet catalyst that yeast will transform into alcohol. But remember, not just any sugar will do. We want pure cane sugar for the best taste. Now, we need water, the unsung hero of moonshine. It's crucial to use fresh, clean water as it forms the base of our brew and affects the overall taste. Last, but certainly not least, we introduce yeast, the magical microorganism that consumes our sugar and produces alcohol. Each ingredient plays a vital role, and together they create a symphony of flavors. The quality of these ingredients is paramount. Fresh corn, pure cane sugar, clean water, and high-quality yeast are the key to a superior moonshine. You might be surprised to learn that these simple ingredients can transform into a potent spirit. Fermentation is where the magic really starts to happen. It's an enchanting dance of microscopic organisms, a ballet of yeast and sugar. The yeast, ever so hungry, consumes the sugar, transforming it into two byproducts, alcohol and carbon dioxide. This process isn't just enchanting, it's also delicate. The yeast needs the right conditions to work its magic. It's a bit like Goldilocks. It can't be too hot or too cold, but just right. Maintaining the right temperature is vital. Too cold and the yeast goes dormant. Too hot, and you risk killing off these vital little workers. The process also requires patience. Good things, as they say, come to those who wait. And in the case of moonshine, that wait is about a week or two, but it's time well spent. Because, at the end of this fermentation process, you're left with something quite special. It's called a mash, and it's the perfect base, ready for the distillation process. Now we move on to the heart of moonshine making, distillation. Distillation in essence is a process of heating and cooling. The fermented mash, which is a mixture of water, sugar, yeast, and grains, is heated in a large pot. As it heats, the alcohol, which boils at a lower temperature than water, starts to evaporate. Here's where the still comes into play. The still is a piece of equipment that captures and cools these alcohol vapors back into liquid form. The result? A concentrated, potent brew of pure alcohol that we know as moonshine. But don't be fooled by the simplicity of this process. Distillation requires a keen eye and careful handling. Remember, alcohol vapors are highly flammable, so safety should always be your #1 priority. Once the distillation process is complete, we move on to the final stage, storage. Moonshine is typically stored in glass jars sealed tight to keep the flavor intact. The beauty of moonshine is that it gets smoother the longer it's stored. So if you have the patience, let your moonshine sit for a while before you dive in. It's a labor of love, and like any good thing, it takes time. But the result is a potent, clear spirit, rich in tradition and taste. And there you have it, a jar of homemade moonshine ready for sipping or sharing. So, there you have it, the fascinating process of making moonshine from start to finish. We gathered our ingredients, let them ferment, distilled the result to increase alcohol content, and finally stored our moonshine for that perfect taste. Seems simple enough, right? But each step requires care, attention, and a bit of patience. It's a craft, an art. Who knew that a handful of corn and some sugar could be transformed into a legendary spirit like moonshine? Until next time, cheers!